Hello, hello, hello. Assalamu alaikum. Jianu, pakhair ragale, ni hao, shune shume, washmale, ohaya, gonzaimes, guten morgen. Hi, hugs and hellos, and a very good khush Ahmadi to everybody who's tuned into PTV World and watching World this morning, alongside the very pretty, the very yellow Miss Maha Makhdoom and Shazad Khan. Hello, Maha, how are you?
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Hello, Shazad. I'm good today. I'm really excited about our show today because it's something that is really important and I'm looking
Even,
forward to it.
even I am, because of the fact that, almost everybody nowadays, they've got a smartphone,
Yes.
they've got a connection to the internet as well, and they're using it, but they are probably not aware of the rights which they might have
Exactly.
while being on internet as well. I think that's what we are talking about, but before we do that, we do have to move on towards the top stories.
Yes,
So
so
let's
let's
go
take a
ahead
look.
and take a look.
All right, so Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif has said that Pakistan is a highly attractive destination for investment that no global player can afford to miss out on.
Good news for all the Pakistanis out there. Pakistan achieves highest growth rate of 5.28%, which is all-time high in last 9 years.
Amazing. Okay, next is the International Court of Justice will announce its verdict in the Indian spy Kab- Kab- Kul-
Kulbhushan Yadav.
yeah, sorry, we could. Yep, Yadav's case today at 3 p.m. Pakistan Standard Time. Apologies, Shazad should have read this one.
Perfectly all right. Moving on, where Afghan deputy head of mission summoned to Foreign Office to lodge Pakistan's strong protest over detention of 2 diplomatic officials in Kabul.
Right, and now the international pro wrestling competition is going to be held in Karachi. 25 international wrestlers from 20 countries will participate in the event. This is amazing. Excellent that we're having international Pakistan.
Exactly. This is amazing. They did very good thing to me, but it's perfectly all
Let's not make
right.
it personal,
Yeah,
eh?
let's not make it personal. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, I think, all right, quite a lot of wrestling going on there. So, for everybody who wants to enjoy it, please make sure that you guys do buy the ticket. They are available online as well. And just have fun alongside your family members.
Exactly.
And please make sure that whatever they do, you do not come back home and start doing it with your brothers, sisters, or your parents.
Exactly. Do not try it at home. Now, moving on to our public service message, let's take a look at that quickly.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, time now for the public service message. And since we said that, we are going to talk about smartphones and the internet and the availability of all of those things, which is, I think just a touch away now these days. Now, what happens is that, whenever we use internet, obviously we do have quite a lot of stalkers, doesn't really matter. But, we do have quite a lot of people who are impersonators. There are quite a lot of people who blackmail you. There are quite a lot of people who want to hack your accounts and whatnot. Please make sure that you stay aware or be aware of all of these people, because half of the time what happens, if somebody is hacking your account, you do get a notification, but you keep it unnoticed. So please make sure that all of your accounts are secure, and this is what we are talking about today as well.
Exactly. So today we're going to be discussing about online cybercrime, bullying, harassment, and what are the laws and systems and people in place to protect us. There's a lot of people who've been working on it and raising awareness and fighting for our rights online. So to just, yes.
And at the same time, I think for all those people who are out there who are tuned into their television screens right now, I think majority of the time people are not even aware, right? So now we are going to talk in depth about what laws are there, and then what type of prosecution can be done against somebody if they're not doing the right thing.
Yeah, a very practical show for you. So, you know, what numbers to call, who to pursue, who to kind of get after if people are not listening to your situation. So to discuss all of this, we've been joined by Sajda Sayed. She is a cybercrime expert and she's also a journalist. Assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Walaikum assalam.
Thank you so
Very
much for
good
joining
morning.
us today.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Besides Sajda, we've been joined by Osama Khilji. He is the director of Bolobhi and he's also a researcher on digital rights. Assalamu alaikum, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us today. Besides Osama Khilji, we've been joined by Haroon Baloch. He is a researcher on digital rights. He is also a prevention and electronic crime act expert. Assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us today. And besides Haroon Baloch, we've been joined by Syed Masroor Shah. He is our legal expert and barrister. Assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Hello, sir.
Thank you so much for joining us. So I'm going to start with the definitions of what is cybercrime and online bullying. So I'm going to start with you, sir. What is online bullying?
Basically, the main statute that defines cybercrime and prescribes the punishments is the a very recent legislation. It's called the Prevention of Electronic Crimes Act 2015. It's a very, very comprehensive piece of law, because it not only defines various aspects of cybercrime, whether it deals with cyber terrorism or it comes down to individual women, because there's a special provision about the women as well.
Okay.
And besides that, some new punishments, new offences have been introduced to the Pakistani law,
Okay.
which was hitherto unknown, because the Pakistan Penal Code, it did not cater to the new wave of offences that have been created by the large use of the internet and online transactions that we carry out.
Okay.
Now, there are various aspects. I mean, if you want to discuss the cyber terrorism, we can dedicate a whole program to that. But I think the theme of your program today is an individual.
Yes,
that if an
absolutely.
individual is bullied, his or her identity is been stolen, perhaps if they are harassed online, or perhaps they are deprived of their money, or there's some cyber fraud or electronic fraud. So definitely there are various provisions to that. The punishments range from 1 year imprisonment to 50 million.
Now, before moving on
yeah.
towards punishments, we need to know about all of those acts which can probably make you go into a jail, or probably have some punishment, or go through certain tough things in your life. I think that's what we want to talk about right now.
Yeah, so Haroon, so tell us, you're an expert on the PECA. Now, what are the specific acts that are there to protect users, citizens?
Well, thank you very much for inviting us. But just a little disagreement with the Barrister Masroor that it's a very comprehensive law. Yes, it is very good law in terms where we talk about the crimes. But when it comes to the terrorism, cyber terrorism, so there are many sections or some sections that are very problematic. So I think we should be very clear when we are talking about crimes. So this law should be this law should only include crimes provisions. But we have seen that there are problematic provision that relate to terrorism. So we shouldn't mix them.
Okay.
Because
So let's differentiate in between cyber terrorism and cyber crime.
Okay.
yes, I think this is very important, because when we talk about the terrorism, so like it's something that deals with very hardcore crimes, but when we talk about the crime, so it's not the impact of that crime is not big.
Yeah.
So it mostly relates to the individual's acts.
Yes, exactly.
So and specifically talking about the topic of this program, like you mentioned earlier, the cyber bullying and cyber harassment. So in that term, this law is very effective.
Okay, yes,
And
so we know that. So tell us about the acts that are in there
exactly.
in regards to protect us.
I mean, in that perspective, we really appreciate the government's this step, because we were raising this voice, because we had seen in recent past there were very threshold of crimes where women were being harassed, or individuals were being harassed, or even minors were being harassed because of the online spaces. We are not against online spaces. We should be very clear, because there are very positives of online space. But with these positives, there are dark
The
sides.
negatives. Okay, let's pause there for a moment. So Osama, can you tell us the specific acts that are there within the cybercrime bill that protect individuals?
So Section 21 deals with using people's photographs or videos unlawfully on the internet. So if you're photoshopping people's photos, or if you're using their photographs or videos without their consent, you can be arrested for that, and you can be fined up to, I think, jail terms of around 3 years and fines of up to, I think, something like 5 million rupees or so.
Oh, wow.
And then also there have been a few cases also in the past. So there have been some cases from Peshawar, some from Sialkot, where people have been arrested. So for example, there have been men arrested who were harassing women and using their photos and photoshopping them and blackmailing them.
Oh, wow.
And then those cases have come forward. And then there's also Section 24 that deals with stalking.
Okay.
So if you're stalking someone online and harassing someone, a lot of your friendship requests that you see on Facebook that a lot of people get, that comes under Section 24 of the Act.
They even suggest you a million friend requests as well. So is that stalking too? Let's be clear then.
Okay, let's define like online harassment and bullying and stalking. Let's ask Saj, then we'll come back to you, Osama, as well. But what is online harassment, bullying? At what points can we start using these different acts?
Like harassment is nothing new. We can see harassment on daily basis everywhere. But whenever it comes to the online harassment, it's related to your phone and your network and your computer systems, right? So this is what is online harassment.
Okay. No,
right?
but at what point do you say this person's harassing me?
Okay.
When do we say, because we're so
If
used
there
to
is
it?
like a physical and psychological, if the person is teasing you, you feel that the person is psychologically damaging you, your personality, your way of living, and if the or it could be lead to the physical as well. So
Okay.
if these are the major things, these are the broad things. If I say that the person is like the comment is depressing me, the message is depressing me, it is like I get upset when I see such
Okay.
But
message.
at what point do you even realize that? Because you know they
Like
do give you half
that's
of the
like,
time they do give you options to probably report. You know, if
Exact,
if you
huh.
do not like a comment, you report it and then you send them.
And the
They
next
block it
thing
themselves
they
as well.
suggest you to block the person.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't stop them from having the
Exactly.
information.
Yeah. So it's simply okay, fine. If the person is bothering you, simply block him. So that's obviously that's again not the way, not the solution.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, okay then, tell Osama, you've mentioned some of the acts. Now, when, you know, that's quite clear that if someone's illegally using your stuff, photoshopping, whatnot, stalking. But like, we report it to Facebook, they say block them, that's no help. What do we do then?
So yes, I think you have to start with first securing your information online, right? That's the first step that you have
That's
to
what our
take.
public service message was.
Exactly. So whenever you're using the internet, you should have strong passwords. You should have two-step verification, right? In which a code is sent to your cell phone, and only then you can log in.
Oh, okay, so
Right?
that is the safe way to go about it.
Well,
okay.
yes, but then also when someone's harassing you, so yes, you have now this the Cybercrime Act that you can also use. But then also yes, blocking people, and then also putting up disclaimers online saying that okay, if you see some photos or messages pretending to be me or from me, please know it's not me, right?
Okay.
So putting that out there also. But then also you can go to the authorities and you can say, okay, this person is harassing me. Now your question was, what is harassment,
Yeah.
right? So I think that's very subjective. It depends from person to person. And it's not about what the other person is doing, it's more about how you're made to feel. So when you feel harassed personally, when you feel, so like we were discussing, like the other panelists said, that it's harassment when you feel that the online threat can translate into some physical harm to you,
Okay.
right? And also, like Sajda said, it's also psychological harm. So if you're being sent messages, if you're being blackmailed, if someone's saying online, okay, meet me or I'll leak these photos of you,
Yeah.
or do this, or I will do this. So such threats, these are very, very uncomfortable situations. If someone's saying, okay, I know where you live, if you don't, you know, talk to me, I'm going to do this, and this happens. This is a reality.
Okay, but before I move on to Masood Sahib over here, I need to ask a question from Haroon over here. Now, do you think that it is different for individual to individual? Because half of the time we do have celebrities on internet, right? They've got millions of fans and they impersonate them. They, you know, you bring out pictures which are very funny. They do Photoshop them, but they really do not tend to bother about it. Now, how do you think it's going to vary from any individual to any other individual as well?
Exactly. I will totally agree with Osama's point that it's matter like it varies from person to person, because for me some bullying could be a harassment, but to some other it's not harassment. So we have seen a lot of cases where, like, you know, people copy pictures and morph them and, like, you know, use them as celebrities, and in that cases celebrities do all have a right to report these sort of cases, but like these sort of cases happen in millions with celebrities. So celebrities don't like, you know,
They don't bother.
it's not possible for them to go to report each and every cases. So maybe for an individual who is very ordinary person, or maybe in cases of the females where, like, you know, they are really harassed at times, and, like, you know, we have seen in Pakistan there are cases where they committed suicides because of this bullying and harassment. So for these individuals, like, you know, even misuse of their profiles for once could be like, you know, very
Detrimental.
case sensitive, and
Yeah.
like they should go to
Okay, so now, you know,
FIA. Like,
we have
there are
come down to a
very
point where we're talking
FIA.
about cybercrime. We know what harassment is. We know what falls under this branch as well. Who do we go to when we experience such things?
Exactly, this is a very important area, because we have law now, and we know that how at least we know that we have a mechanism that we can use, and like we can protect ourselves.
Okay.
But again, agreeing to the point that raised by the Osama, that first step is to secure yourself.
Okay.
So every social media has their privacy policy, and every social media has their privacy settings. So user, when they are going to use social media, so they also need to know that what privacy measures they can take. So there are multiple measures. So your security begins from yourself, from your account. And
Okay.
even if that doesn't work in certain cases, so there are authorities that are established in Pakistan, like FIA has a special cyber crimes wing that we can always contact them, and like, you know, we can ask for the redressals.
Yeah,
So
and I've got something very amazing to share. And for all
well,
those,
one
sure.
thing it's important to say,
Sure.
it's important to share. There is a website of like National Response Center for Cybercrime, where you can
NRCC.
go and make a complaint. You can make a call.
Let's share
and you
that on
can-
the bottom
Yes,
of our
please.
thing,
Is
please.
it
Sure.
www.nationalresponsecenter.com?
Exactly.
NRCC.
Yeah. So you can call them, you can make a complaint, online complaint. It's very easy. They got an easier form, online form, and you can call them and you can, you know, send them message.
Perfectly leading on to what I
Yes.
wanted to share, because back in, I think it was 2009 when I was in Karachi, so one of my friends' pictures got leaked over the internet. And so what he did was that, you know, he kind of figured out where the FIA's office was, and we went to the office, and then while we were sitting right in front of all of those personnel, they said that, you know, we're going to pursue the case. You know, it is a very genuine case, but once we bring down the boy or the girl, whoever is behind it, you know, there's no stepping back then, because then all the hard work is just going to go down the drain. Meanwhile, what happened, there was a very old father walking in with a cell phone in his hand, and he comes to the guy and he says that, you know, there's somebody texting my daughter. Now, so the guy took the cell phone away. You know, they have got this special machinery where they put in, you know, all of the data can be collected. Eventually, they figured out it wasn't really the boy, it was the girl herself. So for all those parents who are out there, before going to any such authority, please make sure that you know the truth at least.
Exactly, you need to also find out. So let's move on to Barrister Mr. Shah. These laws that are in place in regards to personal protection of an individual, once an FIA has been lodged, once it comes to a lawyer, what can an individual do, and what are the consequences?
I'm going to give you some practical tips, because some
Yeah.
of the cases that have been mentioned by our guests, I happen to be the lawyer in those cases,
Excellent.
either on the prosecution or the defense side.
Okay.
But before I dilate upon the practical tips, I think one point that was raised, that what is the precise connotation of harassment?
Yeah.
Well, what are the limitations? Because under the law, technically, even if I touch somebody like this, it's an assault, or I hit him very hard, it is also an assault. So we have to know the exact precise connotation.
Okay.
So for that, there's a particular provision, particularly about the woman,
Okay.
that any act that tend to belittle the esteem of the woman, right? If you upload a picture, if you do any act online, then that would fall in the ambit of this law.
Excellent. Okay.
Now, it can be a threat, or perhaps some innuendos asking for sexual favors, or it could be anything. And then definitely some specific instances have also been mentioned, like uploading a picture without consent, distortion of picture, or you know, a
Sharing
common word,
personal information.
Photoshop, etc. So anything that you do that tend to question or prejudice the repute of a woman, then that would fall in the ambit of this law. They have to be very
Amazing.
careful.
Okay.
And there are instances, there were some cases that went right up to the Supreme Court. I think this Peshawar case that was mentioned, that was taken up to the Supreme Court. Now, some practical tips. The law is there, as has been rightly pointed out, FIA is the authorized investigation agency for this. You don't go to the local police.
Okay.
Now, one thing that I commonly notice is that people tend to take the printout. For example, if I get a message or something, so that is the crucial evidence, right? That is the basis on which the conviction or otherwise of the accused would be decided. So people take the printout, give it to the FIA, and then delete that from their mobile. So that is fatal to the prosecution case. You need to keep the source. For example, if I've received a message on this phone of mine, I have to retain it. The printout is just a photocopy. It
So
will be
even
used for the
online, if someone's sent you a message, you keep them, you don't delete
you
them.
keep, because at the end of the day in the trial you will basically be presenting your phone as an original piece of evidence. If that original piece of evidence is gone, the defense attorney will shatter the prosecution case and the benefit will go to the accused.
But sir, there can be many different situations. For example, you've kept the message in your cell phone, but your cell phone got stolen. Then
But there are ways,
Yeah.
the data can be
Retrieved,
archived.
yeah.
They
Yeah.
are retrieved and can be archived. So like it's not a big deal nowadays because all of our data on the Facebook and the WhatsApp and everything has been archived on their servers.
Okay, but how do we retrieve that then? I mean, once you've deleted it, you've made a mistake. How do we now?
Then you
as
obviously
a-
have to figure
Just
out.
I'm
No,
saying
there are
that
even
our
programs
data
One at a time, everyone, one at a time. So let's start with Sajda and then we'll move down.
No, as I'm saying that all of our data on the Facebook, WhatsApp, everything has been archived, storage on their own storages.
Okay.
Has been stored on their storages. So if we got lost, or if our phone is lost and something like that, you can make a request to get your data back.
Okay, now let's take a very global vision to that as well. For example, whenever we upload a picture, obviously they're being saved in the servers as well.
Yes,
the
exactly.
backups are there, everything's there. What if the servers are being hacked? We have seen all of this Panama Leaks case and
that's
Dawn Leaks
game
case
over.
and what not. So how do we prosecute that then? Is it not in our
Yes,
hands? Is it not
temporary-
in our
yes.
jurisdiction?
If the specific
Let's ask the lawyer this.
Yeah, tampering with data, interference with the information is also covered under this law.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, for example, if I attempt to hack your Facebook account or Twitter account or otherwise your system, you're working in the office of PTV World, and I go and try to, interfere with your data, that in itself is an offense.
Okay.
And that is also connected with terrorism as well. Because, for example, not only you interfere with the individual data, if, for example, I enter into the data of PIA or Pakistan Railways and try to disrupt their schedule or the train timings, that would also be.
No, but this is not what I'm saying. What I'm trying to ask over here is, obviously over here in Pakistan you can go to FIA, right?
Oh yes, yes.
What
that
happens
aspect.
internationally?
There is a provision for international cooperation.
yeah, thank you.
So FIA basically, how it works is that then we can use the services of Interpol. Now Interpol, as wrongly assumed as if it is an independent set of some police officers sitting somewhere abroad. No, that's not the case. Interpol basically, there is a designated law enforcement agency in every country that acts as Interpol within that country. For example, in Pakistan, FIA performs the role of Interpol. So if there is a request from abroad seeking arrest of a fugitive, say fleeing from USA or UK, then the point of contact would be FIA, and FIA would arrest in their capacity as Interpol. So similarly, this law empowers FIA to seek international cooperation, and then they would be contacting the country in which that person is, or that hacker is, the suspect is. Then they would contact the relevant agency of that country, and then they would go and arrest him and prosecute him, perhaps may even bring him to Pakistan. Though there has not been any instance, the law is very recent, nobody has been arrested abroad in this offense.
And
I have just a question, just to clarify my concept. Is it like where this provision of international cooperation is, like, it's only for sharing the data and, like, to fulfill the requests of foreign governments when they require to retain certain data where, like, crime is involved.
Like a show within a show.
yeah, exactly.
Then perhaps the Interpol, you see, once you get the paperwork done, like under the NAB ordinance, there is a similar provision of international cooperation.
Right.
All right.
But once you get the international cooperation, because first you have to get the evidence. Once you get the evidence, then you can use the Interpol treaty. Like we have extradited so many people under the NAB ordinance, after getting the information, after getting the relevant material against that person, and then you issue the red warrant under the Interpol scheme.
Okay, excellent.
Clear?
Okay, got it? Excellent, Harun. Okay, so now that we've clarified the points, we're going to go for a short break. And when you come back, we're going to ask them about actual cases. What have the consequences been for the people who have been targeting people online as well, so that we can find out, what happens.
Yeah. And people who even tend to misuse, since the law is there, so there are many people who probably want to misuse and, probably get somebody else behind the bars as well. So let's go for a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Good morning.
刘飞，从1999年开始爬山，我非常喜欢在野外那人的状态，每个人的角色都特别的单纯。今年我已经2次带队到达北极点，我们踩着雪板，拉着雪橇，大家都是互相特别的信赖，把自己最真实的、正向的、善良的一面体现出来。我和我老婆的梦想都是穆萨格，就是在新疆的一个7000米级的雪山，这是我在户外和我最近的这样冰雪的目标。
All right,
Welcome
ladies
back.
and gentlemen,
Ah,
welcome
gosh,
back.
This is
That's
crazy.
perfectly all right. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, for everybody who just got tuned into PT World, you're obviously watching World this morning alongside Maha and Shazad. Today, we are talking about cybercrime and how individuals can react to that.
Yeah, and cybercrime in the sense of more personal, not on a terrorism on a national scale. So before the break, we were talking about what provisions were there, who to approach. We shared the website, which we will be sharing with
And
you
you can
again.
even say it again as well. The website.
ncc.pk.
NR3C, yes, National Response Center for Cybercrime.
Okay,
CC.
NR3C.
3C,
Yes.
guys. Okay, so that's what we are. We've got the
Yeah.
right thing. We just aren't saying the
Yeah,
right
it's
thing.
right. It's right on our
Okay, so
television screen.
now,
Exactly.
going forward, we're going to be talking about the misuse of it because that can happen too. Now, you have people who are accusing people of, the targeting or harassing them, accusing them of certain things. But then you also have people who aren't doing anything wrong, but they're being targeted. And then, FIAs are being lodged and they're being, investigated. So what is happening with that? What are the provisions for people like that? Let's start with Saj, then move on to Osama.
Look, when I said like you can complain, it's a simple, you can go visit the NR3C page and simply write a complaint. It's so simple and it's cheaper justice. But when it comes to ground realities, justice itself over here is quite expensive in fact and difficult to get if you are unprivileged and if you can't afford to buy this to buy the justice. So it's difficult. Not only with the online harassment, in fact in every case.
Okay, so does anyone know the response rate for when FIAs are lodged in regards to
For example, we logged onto the website, we told them that this is what happened.
If you allow me, I'll explain.
Sure.
Unlike police, FIA does not register an FIR straight away.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a two-tier process. Firstly, whatever complaint they receive, they'll have to do an internal inquiry. And they'll try to ascertain whether the allegations, it's like a complaint verification, where there is some substance to go ahead and use the FIA's resources and go ahead with the formal investigation. So once that is done, then they will register an FIR, and most of the cases, actually these are such matters like the example that you gave me that the girl herself was involved in that. When they bring the suspect to the police station, normally they tend to settle because the chastity of the girl is involved, and the
Yeah.
respect and the family gets involved. So normally most of the cases they get killed in the police station itself before the wheel of legal criminal justice system is set into motion. And then the capacity as well, because it's not like an ordinary police station wherein every tehsil, in every district you have tens of police stations and their entire focus is on cyber crime only. So it's just one cell within a big organization of FIA.
Okay.
So the capacity issues, they can't handle more than a number, a specific number of complaints. So then they'll tend to go for cases where the stakes are high, which are easy to prosecute, and the gravity of offense is severe.
Okay.
I mean, if you just like one email, just a mild threat, you know, that perhaps
People
they may
cannot
not
be running around because of that, yeah.
I think what's also important is not to be ashamed of being harassed.
Okay.
So like Barrister Saab said, a lot of times they talk about honor of the girl and respect, but I think what's important is for people to pursue their cases and not to feel victimized, right? So just because you're a victim of harassment doesn't mean that you shouldn't pursue a case because, oh, izzat ka mamla hai, right? Aapki galti nahi agar, if you've been harassed, it is not your fault. So that's the number one thing to remember and to keep in mind, right?
Okay.
Because a lot of times people get harassed and then they're embarrassed because they were harassed.
Yeah, because,
and that is not okay.
No, because yeah, sorry.
Very valid point.
There's also this sort of harassment in the police station and in the courts.
Yeah.
Well, they'll be like, oh, acha, so why were you friends with this person?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter why you were friends with the person. The matter is the crime, and there's been a crime committed. Your photo's been misused, your information's been misused, and that should be persecuted. There should be no allowance for harassment or for character assassination of people, especially women.
I
Exactly,
think it's
point
very,
made.
very relevant point, because we have seen in certain cases where like we go for a justice to the court or like this legal system, but like at the end we are being taught that we should also improve our morals.
Yeah.
So it's not the case of morals. We are going for justice because we were victim of a crime. And my only plea is to address this issue, not like you will teach me the morals.
Exactly.
Okay, let me
Yeah.
tell you something very, the
Go ahead.
real thing. Like we are saying that we shouldn't judge the person, we shouldn't judge the girl. But to be honest, like I have been harassed by my own boss, and when I shared with my friend,
Previous boss?
yeah, previous
God.
boss, some ex-boss, okay.
Yeah.
So when I shared this thing with my friend, and I said that, look, देखो boss ने मुझे ये messages किए, and I'm feeling so low, so small, or embarrassed, so I'm going to report this. You know what he said here in Islamabad? He said, no, like ये तो लोग तुम पे बात करेंगे.
See, this is
Just see,
ridiculous.
this is, and the guy is well educated. He knows me that
He knows what he's doing,
and
basically.
I told him that, look, I have the evidence. He harassed me. How can
And
you
you'll
say
be
that?
made into the-
He said
No,
that, no.
it can be the other way
No,
around as
look,
well.
people
No,
will
but
start
we're
judging
not
you.
here to
People
defend-
will
No,
start
not
talking
always,
about
not
you.
always.
Most of the time it's
Yeah.
not. We're not here
So
to
that's
defend
why,
women.
like, girls,
Women.
most of the time, like, they don't speak up. That's the reason that people,
We want
your
everybody
own
to speak
friends
up.
say,
No, listen.
your own friends say that, no, people will start judging you, your character, they will tell you that
Absolutely.
you are the one who
Wait, one second.
invited.
It's like you're saying, like, the whole Black Lives Matter, like the whole all lives matter. Like certain people are persecuted more and they need to be protected more as well.
But sorry, sir, I have to make a point over here as well. You've said it very correctly. We're with you on that as well. But it can be the other way around, because when I was living in Karachi, so there was a robbery at my place.
Yeah.
3 girls came in, broke into my apartment, robbed.
Okay.
Took away everything.
Right.
Went to the police station, told them that these are the 3 ladies who live downstairs, and they've stolen everything. It came the other way around. Oh, sir, wo to ladki hai.
That's wrong
Sir,
too.
kahan jayenge aap?
Okay.
Sir, aapka kya banega? So, it can be the other way
robbery
around.
and
We
cyber
want to
crime are a
speak.
little
Yeah, but we
different,
need to speak up.
Okay, no,
Yeah, but when
everyone
it
needs to
comes
speak
to-
up. Absolutely. We're not saying that one is... Look, the thing is, one thing is, though, women are harassed more. And now there is another platform for women to be harassed more.
Exactly.
And more easier.
One
Yeah, so
point. Yes, I totally
Barrister.
agree with what you said, because it's not just only in cybercrime, even in rape cases. The first attack of the defense counsel is the character of the victim.
Yes.
Exactly.
Right?
Well, she shouldn't have been putting up photos. She shouldn't have
No,
been
no,
doing
no.
this.
Even in rape cases, that she was a lady of easy virtue, so perhaps she did that. She used to wear revealing clothes. These are the cases, the examples I'm quoting from the reported cases
Exactly.
that actually happen in Pakistan. So that's what I normally say, that one rape is committed by the accused, the other rape is committed in the courtroom, right? And then the IU, the investigation officer in police station, he commits the third rape, because the way the questions are made. So the psyche is that if a woman is going out for a dinner, definitely she is a bad girl and she deserves what she got.
Yeah.
So that national psyche has, and for that, trust me, no amount of legislation would change that unless we change the attitude. And these judges, these police officers, they also come from the same society.
Exactly.
They are not imported from Mars. So they would also, so we need to do capacity building of the police. We need to do the capacity building of the judiciary as well, especially the lower judiciary, where these cases, because the cases under cybercrime, they're tried in the session court.
Okay.
So in the local session court, perhaps in Mia Valley or perhaps in Jhelum, far-flung areas, these people, these judges have to be, we have to increase their capacity and make them sensitize that, you know, if a woman is a friend on Facebook with somebody, it does not really, it will be not necessary she's a bad woman, it can be a good relationship, but that person perhaps might be misusing the trust. And normally these cyber crimes, the cases of strangers using the photos wrongly is very rare. Normally it's your people around you, like the example that she gave is the boss, because they are in close proximity, they know about your attributes, they can access your photographs, etc. So
They know your schedule, they know when you're going to be.
And even other than that, for all those people who have this habit of selling their cell phones and laptops and whatnot, please make sure at least format them, you know. Come on, you know, you're giving them
or even people
a
give
free treat.
to their phones to the shops to upload music or upload movies. You have to be very careful. You're giving to somebody and they can
Very
get
good
access.
point.
So one
to all
last
their
thing very
data.
quickly, which I need to ask, and that is, for example, you know, we go online, you know, N3RC, you know, I think that's
NRC3.
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 All right, so we go over there, we lodge our complaint and whatnot. How do we make sure that the complaint is authentic?
Okay, yes. That the complaint is?
It's authentic.
No, that's for the FIA
That's
to
the
as a
job.
day. That's for
decide.
FIA to do. But if FIA does not cater to or does not listen to you, or they do not entertain your complaint, then under the laws, under section 22A, you can go to the court of session and ask FIA, get a direction to get an FIR registered.
Excellent. Okay, now these things, you know, just picking up on the misuse and then also people not, where you said the cases are killed at the time they enter the police station. Now, what impact does that actually have on the effectiveness of these laws, and what effect is that having when we get them to do the research, you know, do the investigation, then we're like, okay, let's forget it because, you know, God knows what's going to be said about my son or my daughter or, you know, myself. So, Sam, I'll start with you and then we'll move on to Sajda.
Yeah, so I think that's the problem with the legal system, right? But also because this is technology related, I feel like if you're filing the complaint online, there is a likelihood of it being pursued better. But having said that, obviously there's always that risk of justice not being given to you. There's also, Pakistan also has a cyber harassment helpline now, and it's 0800 39393. It was set up just December last year, and you can call it between 9 and 5, 9 to 5. 39393. And you can call it between 9 and 5 every weekday, right? So 5 days a week. So the Digital Rights Foundation set it up, and they're doing a great job. And you can call them and you can ask for advice if you don't know what to do, if you're being harassed, or if you don't know how to contact the FIA, or if you need some legal help, they will give you free advice on the phone just to help you out with it. They'll direct you to the FIA, they'll direct you to the correct court or to the correct place where you can get justice also.
Okay, and these organizations, you know, like you're the director of Bholabi, then you have the Digital Rights Foundation. Are these, can people write to you guys as well? Is that what you, like, this is what the foundations are there for?
Certainly. So these organizations do a lot of advocacy on digital rights. When there's harassment of someone, a lot of times they have staff dedicated to such cases. So they will provide you help and assistance if you're being harassed online. So if the police or the FIA does not seem like a likely option to you, you still have to go to them, but you can seek help from other organizations that are working on these
Wonderful.
issues that can amplify that effort or complaint.
So the
for you.
system is in place.
Okay, so Sajid, I want to ask you now. I'll let Shazad ask it for the men. I'm going to ask it for the women. So, you know, as a
Okay, so
woman,
it's for both, all right?
yeah. But as you know, as a female yourself too, what would you say to everyone that's watching that, you know, how should they protect themselves if someone is really targeting them, or because it is, you know, it does make you insecure. You know, when when your character or your personality is being attacked, you do feel you're being more, you know, judged even more because everything's on the line then, isn't it?
No, obviously, when it comes to women, obviously the point is that we have always been advised to not speak up. That's the issue, because they say that people will start judging you and, you know, your character, and people would say that, you know, you are the one who should be
Enticing them or
inviting,
something, yeah.
enticing them, enticing the guys. So, oh my God, that's become so sexist.
Yeah.
But the point is that that's the norm. That's how our system is. It's so patriarchal. So obviously you should speak up.
Okay.
Exactly.
If
That's
you
it.
keep quiet, it's not going to work for you.
It's not going to change.
Thank you very much. I
Yes.
think that's what it is. I do not want to ask it about men as well because
Okay. Well, no, because yeah, people do target. I mean,
yeah, you
it's-
do
it does
get
happen.
uncomfortable. But before
there
we
are instances where we have seen women falsely implicating their ex-boyfriends
Exactly.
or ex-husbands,
Husband, yeah.
and in some instances they are languishing in prison.
Yeah. But the thing is, I feel like, you know, that's really
Let's
unfortunate.
look
but
at the facts,
numbers,
like the ratio.
the ratios are very
Yeah, of
different
course.
as well. And I think that is also very detrimental to the women's cause as well. Those women who are abusing these laws and legal
I mean,
systems.
And a lot of
yeah, it's
times
hard to be a
they-
handsome
lot
guy
of
in
times this
Pakistan.
is-
Oh, she's so
A lot of times this is used as a defense.
Okay.
So even if it's the fault of the guy will say no, she's lying.
Yeah,
right?
look at her. Look at what she's been
But
doing.
we do have to
So
wrap it up
that's
now,
also a
guys. We do have to
possibility.
wrap it up. We have given you all of the information which was necessary. You can report online. You can call on the helpline as well. Barrister Sahab gave you all pieces of advice.
Yeah.
In the session code, you need to go find your, you know, lawyers as well. Please talk to them. But other than that, other than all of this, it all starts from you. When you share your information, when you make it public, when you send your pictures to somebody, it is all starting from you. Please make sure that you are beware of the person whom you're talking to or you're sharing information with.
Exactly. So the initial step is on you to look after yourself. But once you have trusted someone, they've betrayed you, or there is someone targeting you, we've just shared all the numbers, all the things. If you have any more queries, we will share. You can write to us.
Yes, and you can write to us on our Facebook fan page, which is with the name of
Well, this morning.
on Twitter,
Well, this morning without a
on
G.
Daily Motion and YouTube.
Well, this morning.
And the fabulous repeat is going to be at
11:05 p.m. And don't judge anyone, guys. That's
exactly
what it's
till
all
the
about.
next time. What is we?
Good morning.
Much for coming over. Thank you very much for sharing your experiences, and thank you very much for making our people aware of the facts, which we didn't knew even. So yeah, it was a tough job, but it was very well done. But ladies and gentlemen, right now we need to move on towards the juice of the day, and the juice of the day we have picked up on is sugarcane juice, which is
Yes.
the national juice of Pakistan as well. So the health benefits of sugarcane juice are
Well, it contains no simple sugar, so if you're suffering from diabetes, then you can have it without risking your health.
it helps in the treatment of jaundice as well.
And restoring the protein which is lost during febrile conditions like fever.
Yeah, and other than that, you know, it is helpful in treating kidney disorders as well.
And fighting against cancer, especially prostate and breast cancer.
Helps in weight management.
And then if you've got a sore throat, cold, or flu, this will be helpful.
Exactly. That's what it is, ladies and gentlemen. With that, do not forget to log on to our Facebook fan page, which is with the name of.
Well, this morning.
On Twitter.
Well, this morning without a G.
On Daily Motion on YouTube.
Well, this morning.
And the fabulous repeat is going to be at
11:05 p.m. this evening. In the evening, 11:05 p.m.
So
Everyone
look out-
always asks me as soon as we say goodbye.
yes. So look after yourselves. 1, 2, 3. Good
Morning.
morning.